Hello everyone, very good morning. Thank you for joining the session today. On behalf of Credo Systems, I would like to welcome you all. So on this session, we're going to discuss about the need of Primavera in core industry. So I would request everyone to join the session throughout the class. At the end, you will have a special QA to clarify your queries as well. So the webinar participation certificate link will be shared in 20 minutes. Also share your details in the form given. So without any further delay, I'm handing it over to Mr. Karthick.
Yeah, hi John. Thanks for the details. Okay, so having said that, let me share my screen and let's get into the content that we have. Okay, so before we start, let me introduce myself. Hi all, very good morning. My name is Karthik. So I do have around 16 plus years of experience in industry, and I'm taking care of Primavera and MSP training at Credo Systems. Basically, I do consulting as well on top of my regular BAU works. So I associated with Credo for more than 8 plus years, and I'm taking care of retail training and corporate training at Credo Systems, and also I assist the students from the different educational institutions as well. Okay, so before we move on, can we have a quick round of quick introduction, like who are all the participants, right? So, what is their background at a high level? Can we quickly have in the next 1 or 2 minutes from which background that you are in? I want the webinar to be much more interactive. So, just want to understand which background are you from? Whoever is interested, please voice out. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, audible, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, this is Akilan.
Yeah, go ahead, Akilan.
Yeah, I'm done master's in project management,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have experience in mechanical engineering as a site engineer and industrial field.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thanks, Akilan, for volunteering. Okay, so have you all heard about what is Primavera all about? So this is just an awareness program
Yeah,
to. Okay. Okay, cool. So we as part of today's webinar, we are going to discuss what is the need of Primavera in the core industries. Basically, we'll have a discussion about who should attend this webinar and what is Primavera and why Primavera is really required, and then we'll have a discussion about the importance of the project management and why the standard tools are really important, and what is the high demand job market demand for Primavera in the job market in various cities in India, right? So we'll have address on that, and then what would be the salary package if you know the Primavera in and out, then what would be the salary package based on your experience and based on the role. So this is in dollars, and then how one can learn a Primavera. We'll have a discussion about that, and if you are one of if you fall under one of these category, then how are you going to learn things? That's what we are going to discuss, and how do you overcome from this part. We'll have a discussion on that, and then can I really learn a Primavera? How are we going to learn it? Right? So these are all the topics that we are going to discuss as part of today's webinar. Okay, fine. So I just want to give an overview before we start so that you'll have an enough idea of what are the topics that we are going to cover in the next 30-40 minutes. And then we'll have a Q&A for the next 20 minutes. Okay. So having said that, so who should attend this webinar? So you may be a fresher. If you are a fresher, you can attend this webinar to start your career as a planning engineer, right? And if you are experienced people, and if you haven't used any software as such in your experience or in your career, you are you can also attend this webinar. And if you are a job seeker, or you may be in a different departments, as you all know that there are different departments in the industry, site engineer, planning engineer, quality engineer, risk control engineer. There may be different departments, right? And if you are not from the planning department, or even if you are from the planning department and you are not using the softwares as such, then you can also attend this webinar, which will help you to have a proper understanding what planning and what Primavera is all about in the planning side. Okay, so these are all the people who can attend this webinar, and I hope you everyone belong to one among this category, right? And then let's move on. What is Primavera? So before we move on to Primavera, we need to have a proper understanding about project, program, and portfolio. So I do understand people, if you are from the experience background, or if you have so many years of experience in industry, definitely you would have worked on some of the projects, right? So people are saying that I am working in a construction project, I'm working in oil and gas projects, I'm working in a shutdown projects, so on and so forth, right? So we just want to understand what project is all about. Can anyone tell me what is project? Everyone is saying that I am working in different projects, right? So what project is all about? Do you have any idea what project is? Even if it is wrong, no worries. Please feel free to collaborate. The moment when you start collaborating, you will start learning things. Sorry, your voice is very feeble. Could you please?
This is Balaji Sampath. Could you hear me?
Yes, Balaji, please go ahead, and thanks for pitching in.
Uh, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working in Saudi Arabia as a site engineer.
Okay, great.
Okay. This the project is the client to in the process and they do some MOC, management of change. According to the MOC, we have to code and we have to get the project.
Mhm.
That's called a project. Management of change.
Okay,
If
okay, cool,
it
cool.
is
So
a
as
new project, it should be extension.
mhm.
Extension of the existing progress process.
Okay, very good. So as Balaji mentioned, so project is basically a temporary endeavor, which means that it should have some start date, it should have some end date, right? So every project should have some start date and should end date, right? And at the end of the project, some unique output will be there will be some unique output. Let's say if you are working in a civil project, then you have some start date when the civil work is going to start and when it is going to end. So at the end, what is the output? The constructed building is the output, right? So similarly, and this project has some start date and end date, and it has influence the various characteristics. It may be a environmental impact. So everyone know that in Chennai, there is a flood in the last cyclone has been formed in the last 2 days, and all the work has been heavily impacted. So there are several characteristics which may impact the project progress. So we need to have a proper understanding what are the characteristics that may have a impact in the project progress, and we need to overcome those hard stops, right? Okay, that is all about project. And what is program? So there is a
What are
connectivity
the
talking about
what
all
are the
this.
works what we are going to do?
What are the works that we are going to do? Okay, fine. See, I would say group of projects together called as a program, right? And what is a portfolio? Group of program together called as a portfolio. Let me put it in a different way so that everyone can understand easily. So if you take L&T as an example, Larsen and Toubro, right? So L&T as an example, L&T is a portfolio wherein it has multiple programs in it, right? So what are they? They are into L&T is into L&T constructions, L&T boilers, L&T infotech, so on and so forth. Each one is called as a program. Under a portfolio called L&T, L&T infotech is a program, L&T construction is a program, L&T boilers is a program. Under each program, you could see they have n number of projects under each program. Say for example, let's take L&T construction as an example, which is a program, right? Is one of the program under the portfolio called L&T. So L&T constructions, they are involved in multiple projects. They are most of the government projects L&T is owning it, right? So let's say Chennai Metro Rail, Bangalore Metro Rail, Delhi Metro Rail, Mumbai Metro Rail. Most of the metro rail projects are being owned by L&T. Each one of them are project. So portfolio group of project is called as a program, and group of program together called as a portfolio. Okay, so why are we discussing about project, program, and portfolio? The reason being is the Primavera basically it's a planning software, right? Which will help you to do our work much more easier. So if you are not using a Primavera, right? If you are not using a Primavera, what will happen right now in most of the industries, right? So I would say 40 to 50% of the industries are not using any software for their planning purpose. Instead, they are using an Excel sheet. That is a main problem, main pain point, pain areas that all the staffs are facing in the industry, right? So if you are using a Excel sheet for the planning purpose, what will happen? There are lot and lots of human efforts are required to manage all these things, right? So you may be working in a project where the project duration may be 100 days or 150 days or 180 days and so on and so forth. For all these things, you need to put a mathematical calculations in order to manage the cost, schedules, resource allocations. Everything needs to be managed in using a Excel sheet. Okay, so that is the main pain areas that people are facing. If you are using an Excel sheet, of course, if a lot of human interventions are required, then a lot of human errors may tend to happen, right? So if you are using a planning software such as Primavera, it will make our life much more easier. So it has all the features inbuilt. All we need is we need to have a proper understanding how to use the software effectively. So basically, Primavera is a project management software, program management software, and with the help of Primavera, we can manage the portfolio as well. When we say we can manage the portfolio, it includes we can manage the programs and it can manage the projects under the different programs. So it's a planning software. And what are the other planning softwares that you aware of apart from Primavera? So have you heard about
MS
Microsoft?
project.
Yes, very good. So Microsoft project, which we call as a MS project. So MS project is one of the software which is being used for planning purpose, but it has its own limitations. The main challenge in using a MSP as compared to Primavera is if you are using a MSP, you can manage only the project. You cannot manage the program. You cannot manage the portfolio. But if you are using a Primavera, you can manage project, you can manage program, and you can manage the portfolio. So that's the reason people are using Primavera as compared to MSP if the budget permits, right? If the budget doesn't permits, people are using a MSP rather than using a Excel sheet. Using MSP is much more better, right? So any questions in this? So what is Primavera? In a nutshell, it's a planning software which can be used in projects as used in a program and used in a portfolio as well. Any questions so far before we move on to the next topic?
No, sir. It's just one doubt. It's like a project portfolio management software, isn't it? It's the correct way.
It's a portfolio management software.
Okay, okay, sir.
If it is a MSP, it's a project management software. Only projects can be managed. You cannot manage a group of projects.
Projects.
You
Okay,
cannot
okay,
manage a group of programs, which is a
okay, okay.
portfolio. Okay, cool. And why to learn Primavera? So as we discussed, the need of Primavera is really is a hot cake in the market. So lots of requirements in for the Primavera planning engineers, but the demand is more, supply is less. People from the planning department are still, most of the companies still they are using a Excel sheet, as I mentioned. If you are using Excel sheet, it will be a very tedious process for you to manage a bigger projects. If the project size is very small, if it is a 1 month project or 2 month project, then using Excel sheet makes sense, because you are not going to, there is no more huge money is going to involve, lot of less resources. With less resources we can able to achieve it. So in such instances, using Excel sheet would be fine. But when the project size is bigger, just go with any of the software like MSP or Primavera. If the budget permits, I would suggest to go with Primavera. If the budget doesn't permit, go with MSP rather than using a Excel sheet. And why to learn Primavera? Because it helps our work more easier and more accurate as well. So with this Primavera, we can easily have a visibility how much amount of work has been completed, how much amount of work is still pending, and how much cost has been spent, and how much cost is still pending. What are the risks that we have in our runway, and how are we going to mitigate those risks? Everything can be captured clearly, including the resource utilization, and it will get you a clear visibility for your leadership as well as for your client, saying that okay, we are progressing in a right way. So if you are progressing in this space, definitely we can able to complete the project on time or not. That visibility can be clearly understand from this Primavera reportings. And can Primavera training enhance my career? Definitely, it will enhance your career, because even people who is working in as a planning engineer, people who is working as a planning engineer and using different tools, MSP, or Primavera, they are. I'm 100% sure that no one is 100 percentage knowledgeable. Even the people who is working in industry. So learning is something like we need to have a end-to-end understanding about Primavera. People who is working in Primavera in industry, they may not have a complete understanding. I bet you guys. But we need to, in order to grow up in the ladder much more effective, we need to have a proper understanding in and out basically about the Primavera. And this is a user-friendly tool. It's the UI would be much more easier. You can easily learn this software. Moving on. Okay. So here it talks about why project management. So basically, it's a project and planning software, right? Project management and planning software. So we need to have a proper understanding about why project management is important. So everyone, if you are working, definitely you would have some managers tag to it, right? You are reporting to some of the managers, and they may be called as a so and so called planning manager or project manager. The naming would be different. So why project management is important? So there is a survey stating that there are lot and lot of money are getting wasted because of poor project management. So there is a survey in the US which stated that for every 1 billion that are invested in the project, 122 million dollars are getting wasted because of poor project management. So if you take a survey in India, for every amount that we are investing, 8.1 percentage of the monies are getting wasted because of poor project management. And why are we discussing here? Because we may not have a proper planning, right? The client may be looking for something and we may understood something, we may put up a plan for the incorrect requirements, and we may start constructing or start working on the projects. And after a while, when we have a review with the client will be disappointed, because client may look for something and we came up with some other thing. So with this softwares, there is a checkpoints then and there, and we'll have an option to capture each and everything clearly, and we'll have a frequent interaction with the client to understand. So this is what been captured, and are we good to proceed or not? So we'll have a clear visibility if you are using the project management and planning software such as Primavera or MSP. Any questions so far? Okay. And why the standard tools are important? See, if you look at this image, never use a carpenter hammer on a metal. If you want to, or never use a wrench too large for net. If you want to remove the nut or bolt, you need to use a appropriate tool, spanner, a screwdriver. You need to use the right tool. If you are using a different tool, let's say if you are using a hammer to unscrew the nut or bolt, what will happen? Or if you are using a cutting blade to do that, your work will not be completed on time, and it may lead to a lot of physical damage to your hand as well as for the network. So using a standard tool is much more important. If you're using a right tool, you may complete your job in the precise time, in the mentioned time, with a great quality. If you are not using a standard tools, it may end up in vain. So if you are from the planning department, and if your organization is not using a standard tools such as MSP or Primavera, you may start publishing them, saying that these are all the benefits that we can achieve if you go with the software called Primavera or MSP. Based on the budgets, you can pitch it. Okay. Now look at the job markets. So once you have a proper understanding on that, then you need to look at the opportunities for Primavera. So in India, I would say more than 20K jobs are there for the Primavera. So these are all the region-wise opportunities. And apart from India, you can ask me, if you ask what are all the countries that they are using Primavera, I would say there is a huge opportunities resides in the Gulf market. And I remember one of our friend who stated that he worked in a Saudi, right? So how about, have you heard about the opportunities in Saudi? Balaji, right? Balaji Sampath. So have you heard about this opportunity for Primavera in Saudi, in the Gulf region?
Yeah, there are vast opportunities in Saudi Arabia. Because,
Sorry?
there are vast opportunities in Saudi
Yeah,
Arabia.
best opportunities for Primavera. So
Yeah,
Gulf is a
because
major
there is
chunk. Yeah. So Gulf is a major job market for this kind of software's opportunity, planning engineer opportunities using Primavera or MSP. The second largest market is Singapore, Canada, Australia, and European countries. Other than India, there are a lot of opportunities in Gulf, lot of opportunities in Canada market, followed by Singapore, followed by Australia, and followed by the European countries, where these softwares is being used a lot. So if you have a end-to-end understanding about the softwares, you can pitch in anywhere. If you have a dream to go abroad and earn money, then definitely this tool will help you to get your aspiration or dream comes true. Okay. So moving on to the average salary of the planning engineer and the functional consultant. So what would be the different roles? So if you are a fresher, you may, and if you know the Primavera or MSP or both, then you can start your career as a planning engineer. Your role will be a planning engineer, and the average salary in the industry, if you know the Primavera, then average salary would be 4.4k US dollar. That is the average salary of the planning engineer. And once you reach the experience of 3 to 5 years, then you will be promoted as a senior planning engineer, and your salary will be doubled in that case, which from 4.4k you can earn 8.4k to 9k as an average. And there may be an instance where you may go you may go above and beyond the average salary as well, based on your performance in the interview and based on the organization that you are working on, right? And after a while, if you reach a 6 to 8 years of experience, you will be promoted as an assistant manager planning side, and your salary range will be 15k. So if you are in the planning department, right, and if you are not using a software, definitely the average salary will be whatever that you are getting will be less from what it been depicted here. So this is a salary only if you know how to use the software, right? And the moment when you reach 9 years of experience, you should be in a position to manage the manage the entire planning team. And if you are, just compare it against where you are. So based on the experience range, based on the salary, and based on the role that we have depicted here, just compare it with against what is what is your role, what is your year of experience, and what is the salary that you are getting. If you are into that range, then I would say that you are on par. If you have 14 plus years of experience, then you will be a project head or senior manager. More than that, I would say it's a project planning director, planning senior director. That's how the role will go. So the average, there is another math I would say, just compare it with yours data. If you have a 3 years of experience, then in India, then you should get a salary of 6 lakhs for sure, which is multiplied by 2. Your year of experience multiplied by 2. If you have a 10 years of experience, you supposed to earn 20 lakhs per annum. If you have 5 years of experience, you supposed to earn 10 lakhs per annum. If you are not into that level, definitely you are getting below the standards. Okay, so how to increase this? If you are below the if you are on par with the market, whoever is on par in the market, that we really glad you are on par. If you are not on par with the market, then please stay attention, please stay focused. What can be done? See what can be done to get into that level. So below on par to on par. How are we going to do that? right? So how are you going to increase the salary based on, see, everything based on your knowledge, right? If you have a, if you have more knowledge, you will be able to project more, you will be able to earn more. So everything depends on the knowledge that you have, that you, the skills that you possess. Okay, moving on. And how can I learn Primavera? So people, we have a lot of questions. So far we have an understanding about what is Primavera, why Primavera is required, what is the demand for Primavera in the different job markets, and what is what would be the experience, role, and average salary for the planning engineer who are using Primavera, right? And now let's move on to, okay, how I can learn Primavera. Now I know what is the need, what is the importance, and let's move on to how I can learn Primavera. So there are different ways of learning. There may be a self-learn where one can look at the YouTube video tutorials, one can look at the articles, different articles which is available in the open market. From that, one can learn with the help of self-learning, I would say. So in order to do a self-learning, it requires more discipline, right? And the other way of learning Primavera is get trained by the industry experts. So by the real-time mentors, you can learn, which will help you to get a complete understanding. So there are uh, scenarios where the self-learn and as compared to trained by industry mentors, there is a difference, I would say. If you are self-learning, if you're doing a self-learning, you will have a complete understanding about the software. I'm sure about that. If you know, if you are disciplined enough in self-learning, but you may not connect the dots effectively. You know the concepts, you learn the concepts, but in order to connect the dots, definitely people who are working in industry, if you get trained by them, definitely you can able to connect the dots. Why this concept is much more important? Where I'm going to apply this learnings in the real-time use cases, right? That connecting the dots may be lagging in terms of self-learning, but that will really help when you get trained by the mentors who will guide you, who will guide you to get a complete understanding. And 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 this is basically a placement oriented training. So which means that not only training will help you to get a job. I have experienced many people who are having very good amount of experience, 18 years, 16 years, 20 years, 22 years. I try many of them, right? And the common challenge or the common problem that I'm facing for most of the people is they they are good at learning things. After we completed the training, people know in and out about the Primavera, they know how to do things, but when it comes into articulating, meaning like in an interview, if you go for an interview, definitely people will check for your knowledge about the Primavera. So definitely there will be a lot of questions they ask, and I see people are lagging in articulating things. Interview is all about how are you articulating, how are you selling yourself, right? So we are seeing people are lagging in that area. So only training will not help you. We need to help you in terms of assist how to get the opportunities, how to crack the interview. That will be much more important as like how are we learning Primavera. Equally important, we need to be articulate the learned items. Moving on. So if you fall under one of these category, say that if you are in a confused mindset, say that, yeah, I want to learn Primavera, I have a learning person to learn that, or I'm below my salary level as compared to my experience. So I want to pump up, right? So how to do that? I need to learn. I need to improve my technical abilities in order to get into that level. So how do I start? So there will be a big question: where to start? How to? Which one to learn first? So there are a lot of questions will be coming up, right? So even if you started learning, you may have a question like where to start, where to finish. So if you look at internet, lot and lot of things are getting you could bombarded with lot of informations if you surf in the internet. But you need to have a proper understanding how to perceive it, how to connect the learnings with the real-time use cases, and what is the expectations in the industry, what is the best practices that is being followed in the industry, right? So if you have questions in all these areas, then here this is how you can overcome with all these questions that you have. So basically, this is a webinar to get you information about Primavera, and we do provide training as well. So basically, it's a hands-on training. It's not like a running through the PPTs, next done. It's not like that. It's basically a completely hands-on training. It is being delivered by the people who is working in industry, and there will be a regular assignments been shared with you. So it's a completely hands-on, as I said. So once each and every topic is completed, we will let you know what is the conceptual understanding behind that, and how to do it practically, and we'll get you we'll tell you how to implement it, and we'll get you an assignments for you to come to work it out. And once the assignment is completed, the next day of the training, that will be reviewed. If you are done with that, and if you have any questions, that will be reviewed, and will provide a consistent feedback which will help you to ensure that you are in a right track. And we'll also have a discussion about what are the important topics, what are the questions that may come up in terms of interview perspective, right? What are the points that may come up? So we'll in between we'll have a discussion about that, and this is with the help of real-time case studies and real-time projects we are going to train you guys. And post training, right? Post training we'll be conducting a mock interviews. So as I said earlier, the mock entry will help you to assist, to understand where you are, what you need to improve. That will you can take a feedback after the completion of mock interview. So once the training is completed, I will be spending time. Will be giving a 2 week of time for you to prepare for an interview. So you need to come up for a mock interview. Don't think that it's a mock. When you go for a real interview, how do you prepare? I want you guys to put the same effort, and after the mock interview, you will have a understanding what to improve and what are the areas that you are good at, right? And in terms of placement references, we do have a lot of connects. We do have a lot of alumni who is working in the different regions. So any opportunities that comes up in their space, and they will let us know, and we will share those informations to you all. And how long I need to learn this Primavera. So basically, it's a 30 hours of training program. So when I say 30 hours, it's a 30 hours from my side. So in order to cover the content, right from the project management to Primavera basics and advanced, I really need 30 hours of time to get it delivered. And for every 1 hour of learning, I recommend you guys to practice at least 1.5 hours to 2 hours, so that you can able to digest the thing whatever that you have learned. So from your side, it will be a 30 hours of learning plus 45 hours of practical implementation that you are going to do. So put together, I would say it's a 75 hours of effort. So this 75 hours definitely will change your life, change your career into the organized way. And can I really learn Primavera? Yes, if you are interested, if you are if you have a career aspirations to grow up in the ladder quickly, then definitely you can learn Primavera. And how are we going to learn it? So this is how we are going to learn. See, this is something like these are the different process groups in the project, right from the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, control, and then closure. So how are we going to learn? In each phase of the project management life cycle, we are going to see what is the importance and need of Primavera. So in the initiation phase of the project, what is the importance and need of Primavera? What are we going to do with Primavera? And in the planning phase, what are we going to do? In the execution phase, what are we going to do? Similarly, in the monitoring and control, and then closing. So that is what we are going to see as part of the training program, right? And these are all the different project management timelines. So during the initial phase of the project, the amount of work will be less, and as the time increase, the amount of work that we are going to perform will be increased, and at one point the work will be completed and it will gradually reduce down to the 0 point. So this is the initiation phase, I would say. This is the planning, and this is the execution, monitoring and control, and this is the closure phase. So the more amount of work has been spent in the execution space, but the starting and planning phase is also much more important in order to carry out the work much more effective in the execution phase of the project. And during the initial course of the time, the cost involved is in the project is much more, is will be less, and as the time increase, the costing involved in the project is will be high. So with this afters, how are we going to manage those costs effectively, that we are going to see, and which is inversely proportional to the risk and uncertainty. During the initial course of the time, the risk is much more higher, and as the time grows, the risk and uncertainty has been reduced. So the cost and risk is always inversely proportional with against time. Okay. So have you heard about triple constraints? Quality, resource, and risk. So these are all the items that we are going to discuss in detail when we get into the Primavera content, training content. Okay, so this is the project. When you say project, you have some scope in it, and you should have some timelines. You should have some budget, cost associated with it, right? If if the time and cost is there, if there is any impact in the time and cost, then the quality will be impacted. Say for example, the planned time to complete the project is 150 days, and your client is pushing you to complete within 50 days, meaning like they are trying to reduce the timeline of 100 days. Do you think that you will be getting a quality output out of it? Definitely not. If it is a 2 day or 3 day compression, then it makes sense. The plan is to complete it in 165 days, and client want to complete it in 160 days, which makes sense to some extent. But reducing the duration from 150 to 50 is not a valid point. It's not viable. Even if you agree to do that, then the time is reduced. Because of that, you may lead to quality compromises. Similarly, if there is a scope and any change in the scope and cost, then it introduces a risk to the project. If there is any change in the time and scope, then the resource constraints will be there. So these are all called as a triple constraints: quality, risk, and resources. So how are we going to deal with all these constraints? So that's how we are going to deal with the real-time use cases. How are you going to deal with all these constraints in Primavera? So that we will see as and when we get into the training content. And also we'll talk about the critical path. Hope you all heard about critical path method. So what is critical path method? Why the path is called as critical? How to make it as a non-critical? If you want to make it as non-critical, what needs to be done? All right. So we will have a detailed understanding about the critical path. And finally, at the end, you need to send multiple reports to the client and your leadership as well. They may be interested in looking at the schedules report, cost report, risk management report, resource utilization report, so on and so forth. No matter what report is, so this is how the report looks like. And we do have a lot of success stories. So a lot of candidates who got placed after completion of the training program and in the different companies. Okay, and if you want to one among them, then you need to start learning things. And if you want to do an enrollment, so how are we going to do? So this is learning by doing, means that it will be completely hands-on, followed by the entry preparations, and followed by the real-time projects, real-time interviews. That's what we are going to proceed. This is how your journey would be. And if you want to be a part of this successful future, then if you are interested, you can talk to Jones and get it enrolled if you are interested. And it's a 30 hours of training, I would say. So which means that it will be completed in, if it is a weekday, it will be completed in 1 month. If it is a weekends, it will be completed in 2.5 to 3 months of timelines, right? And as part of this training, you will be getting access to the training recordings as well. So which will help you to refer the future purpose. So after 4 or 5 months, if you forget some of the topics, then you can go back to the learning recordings and get an understanding about that. Okay. So if you want to stay ahead, please let us know. And now I will open it for Q&A. So any questions from anyone? Anyone has any questions in terms of either it can be a doubts in Primavera or
Sir, what is the fees for this course, sir?
okay. With respect to fees, I will leave it to Joan. He will assist you, Balaji. I hope you
Sir.
have shared your contact details to him.
Okay.
He will be reaching you out to get more information about the schedules and then the fees.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Maharajan.
So help construction buildings or oil and gas maintenance.
Okay, okay, very good question. Okay, I will address it, Maharajan, and thanks for asking this. Okay, see, basically, this is a software which is used in the planning industry, the core industries, I would say. Where when I say core industries, people from construction background, electricals background, oil and gas background, mechanical background, people are using this software. So we are going to learn how to use the features in this software effectively, no matter what the background is. You may be from the different background. It doesn't matter what background you are from. All we need is how are we going to learn the features effectively? I do have a project samples for constructions, mechanical, oil and gas. I will share it across with you as and when the training starts, which will help you to proceed further.
Okay. There is no any separate training for particular construction or the oil and gas.
So that's what we are going to know. We are going to learn how are we going to use the features.
Okay.
That can be applied in a construction project. That can be applied in a oil and gas project. That can be applied in a mechanical project.
Okay.
See, this is something like I would say that if you know how to drive the car, no matter what the
What
car
are
brand is,
okay.
right? You can drive the Hyundai car, Honda car, Toyota, Tata, whatever it is. If you know how to drive it, you can drive it. Does it answer a question, Maharajan?
So I have an experience in oil and gas as a foreman. I want to upgrade myself. So is there you will help me in finding jobs, or you will only provide the trainings only?
See, we do provide training. We help you to upskill yourself in the upskill you in the in terms of planning side. With respect to the opportunities, definitely we whatever the requirement that we come across, we will share it with you. So
Ah,
once you enroll, right, you will be put up in a WhatsApp group, and we'll be having a HR in the WhatsApp group. Whatever the requirement that she come across, she will share it across with you. If the job description matches your profile, you can apply for it.
okay.
Okay, and this is how the training. These are all the different assignments that we are going to see as part of this training program. So we have a multiple level of assignments: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So which will help you to mold you in a more better way.
So I have one more question. Would you help me to assist to install the software and how to
Yes, yes,
run? Huh? Because
we do.
you will assist us to do it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
We will share the software. We will have a document, step-by-step installation document, how to use it effectively.
Uh,
That will, with the help of that, you can install it, and if required, I can guide you. So these are all the different assignments that you are going to do, and
uh,
once that is completed,
mm,
I'll be sharing these projects with you so that you can do a planning solution for the given project requirements.
uh,
So these are all the different oil and gas schedules that we have. So how are we going to do that? So I will share all these with you as and when the training starts and we make progress.
uh,
And we'll share the documents as well. We'll have a different set of documents for each and every topics, which will help you for a future references.
okay.
I have one doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
I'm basically I'm from mechanical background. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to like EPC construction type, there is it's included with electrical and mechanical and civil. So I need to handle all those three departments without basic knowledge of civil or electrical. Can I handle this as a planning engineer?
Yes, of course you do,
Hmm.
but you need to know you can get help from the team
Mm-hmm.
to get the sequence of it.
So
What to
from
do first,
Yeah, I
what
have some little knowledge about the BOQ. It's all comes with under the BOQ, isn't it? From the BOQ, we need to get all the data, and then we according to that we need to plan through this Primavera. Is that correct or
yes, yes.
okay?
See,
Okay.
once you get an understanding about this software effectively,
Mm,
this, you
okay.
need to know the sequence of work. What to do
Okay.
first, what to do second. Once you get a work sequence right, you can manage it with the software effectively.
Okay.
If you
And
don't
then
do a sequence, then it is really hard.
Oh,
The software will help you how to do the sequence, but you need to do the sequence of it.
okay, sir. For the and then for the resources, how to, is there in resources or all in the software, sir?
Yes, yes, resources we need to
Manpowers.
create. We
Oh,
need to
okay,
have created resources.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Without resources, we cannot achieve the project progress. Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, sir. It's Musharraf.
Hi, Musharraf.
Sir, I have a doubt in this course contains only the software utilization or project management principles like scope management, time management, this and all, sir.
At a high level, we'll have the first we start with the project management only. The first 2 to 2.5 hours will be on project management discussion, followed by the Primavera discussion. Primavera introduction, basically, what Primavera is all about, what is architecture, what are the different steps that are involved in Primavera. There are 22 steps are there, Musharraf. If you know all the 22 steps, then you can become a SME, subject matter expertise. We'll have a project management discussion, but at a high level, not in depth.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Sir, I have a doubt in job opportunities, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Since we have searched in LinkedIn, there is no such opportunities for fresher. They are posting only for 2 to 3 years experience. As this skill will get us the job, sir.
Definitely, see, the moment when
But
you
they are
start,
asking experience with the skill, sir. So that's the risk for getting job.
yeah, if you are a fresher, right, then I would strongly suggest to look for the opportunities in Naukri rather than LinkedIn. LinkedIn definitely people who is having experience, definitely they can find some opportunities through LinkedIn. But if you are a fresher, then the first source of searching would be a Naukri, Musharraf, not a LinkedIn.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Definitely would see opportunities in Naukri for sure.
Hello, sir. I have one more question. How much is the price for the course?
Is that Joan will assist you, Maharajan? When it
Uh,
comes to this, Joan
so,
will assist you.
so the cost will be include the software which you give, right?
Everything, everything.
Okay. So,
Team, regarding the course schedules, fee structures, I have shared my contact number in the chat box. Also, the form to get your participation certificate. Please fill the form, you will get the call directly. Also, you can contact us to the contact number given directly as well. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions before we wind up? One last questions. Okay. If no questions, then we shall wrap up. Thanks everyone for your time. Thanks for showing interest in learn
Karthik,
about. Yes, Joe.
Karthik, one last question in the chat box.
Uh-huh.
I'm reading it out. What's the
Yeah.
use of learning Primavera for software developers?
What is the use of Primavera for learning?
For software developers.
Software developers. See, this is basically a planning software. If you are a software developer, then this will not help you. To be honest, if you are a planning engineer or if you are want to become an aspirant planning engineer using a software, then this course is for you. This training is for you. If you are a software development background from the IT side, then this will not help you at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for your time, and thanks for the active participation and clarifying all your doubts. Thanks everyone once again. Bye bye.
Thank you, Karthick. Team Jones here. So as I already said, I have shared the form to get your certification, participation certification. So please fill the form because this form link will not be shared in the WhatsApp group. So it will be shared only here. It's in the chat box. Please fill the form. And for further queries and discussions, or if you want to have a one-on-one discussion with Karthik to clarify your queries, contact numbers is also given. Please fill the form. You'll get a call from our team directly. Thank you very much for joining the session. So we have further new batch plans for Primavera for both weekday and weekend. So this session is available as both classroom and online as well. So I request you all to join the session. Stay connected. Join our WhatsApp channel to get further updates about webinars as well. Thanks for joining and all the very best.